30 seconds to go.
Andy, called order this meeting of the Nettle Creek School Board. So all members present with the exception of Mrs. Houghton. We're in compliance with the open meeting law.
Yes, we did have though one addition to the agenda this evening, which is the superintendent spotlight.
Stand for the pledge of allegiance and moment of silence. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, first we have approval and or correction of the executive session minutes and the regular board meeting minutes from February 11th, 2026. I have a motion.
So moved.
Sandy,
Second.
Ruthie. Any corrections or discussion on that? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Next, we'll move to public comment. If there's anyone that wishes to address the board. Being none, we'll move to superintendent spotlight.
Okay, exciting night tonight. We are going to recognize two of our second grade students who scored a perfect score on the I Read 3 assessment, and they are second graders. So we'll have Ellie Meeks come up. Go ahead and come on up, Ellie. And also, right there. We'll have Mrs. That's me. Yeah, Miss Hobbs. Hobbs, thank you. Getting late in the day. Okay, hold your certificate up, girls. Mrs. Hobbs is their second grade teacher. Both came out of her class, so that is also super exciting. I asked Miss Hobbs to share some words about each of the girls that I could share with the rest of us. So I will read what she has shared. Ellie is a very sweet and creative girl. She is hardworking and always willing to step in and help, even with other students as a teaching assistant. She is clearly dedicated to her education and asks questions to push her knowledge even further. She has definitely been a bright spot in the classroom with her positive attitude and fun spirit. Mrs. Hobbs says, Ruby keeps you on your toes with her curiosity and spunk. She works hard and encourages others to do well. She is a positive influence in our classroom. She is very bright and a kind girl that has so much potential for amazing things in her future. I can't wait to see what's to come for both of these young ladies. I am so proud of them. And boy, are we proud of them. We will pause and we're going to do some pictures real quick. Let's come over here first, girls, and we'll get one. Families, if you want to come on up too, we'll get one in just a second. Come over here, girls. Awesome. Elsie, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say, one of you step out. You stay there. Ellie's family, join her. Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay. That's cool. Brother. prettier friends. Good job. Thank you. All right, Ruby, jump in there. Very good. Yes. Let's do it that way. There we go. All right. Awesome. Congratulations. Keep up the great work, okay? Yes, thank you all for coming. Great job, girls.
We'll move on. I'm not sure the rest of this is going to be as fun as that, though.
I know, and aren't they the cutest? Like, that is so exciting. And a perfect score. Holy cow, it's amazing. And I think we were talking, just a minute, I think our last perfect score, did we decide was as a third grader? Because just 2 years ago, they started, having second graders take, it was optional, but we opted in. Second graders take the iRead 3 assessment. It used to just be given in third grade. And so our last perfect score, I believe, was 2 years ago. And those were third graders. So to have 2 second graders score perfect scores on the iRead is exciting.
Cool. All right, we'll move to financial items presented for board consideration and action. First, we have approval of claims and payroll. Payroll totaling $597.15. Claims totaling $452,181.50. HES ECA totaling $1,199.31. Junior senior high school ECA totaling $61,887.77. I have a motion.
So moved. Second.
Cody. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Move to review of monthly financial statements. Mr. Schaefer.
Yeah, monthly financial statements were included in your board packet. I will briefly go through them, and if you have any questions or want me to go in depth, please feel free to ask those. But the financial snapshot, the education cash flow, operations cash flow, debt service cash flow, rainy day, our preschool fund, and the cash flow of our lunch fund, the investment report, and the reimbursement of grant totals. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer those.
Doesn't appear so. We'll move on to school news.
All right, we are going to start off with Mrs. Locke tonight, talking about HES. But before she gets started, the first thing that she is going to share is iRead results for HES as a whole. I put up here on the screen just a little bit about iRead. So in Indiana, this is the assessment that is used to ensure that all students can read proficiently by the end of grade 3. We know that reading is the foundation of all future learning. Being a strong reader by this milestone in 3rd grade is a key indicator for long-term academic success. So that is why I Read is such a big deal in ensuring that all students, by the time they moved on to 4th grade, have that strong reading foundation so that they are more successful, not only in elementary, but it is an indicator of their success as they get into junior high and high school. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Locke to share a little bit about I Read 3 results.
So I Read scores right now, they stand at 2nd grade, and I think we do have everybody's finished. Everybody just finished up. 2nd grade is at 50%, and our school goal is 40%. So we did well, 10% better than what we had as a goal. So we're really excited about that. That was something that that's just at 2nd grade. So, and our 3rd graders right now, we have 84% of the students have passed. Our school goals is 90%. But keep in mind that these students still have 2 more opportunities to take the I Read test. One will be in May, toward the end of May, and then the other will be during the summer school. So we're super, super proud of our students and proud of our teachers and just thrilled.
Just to take a look, the state performance on I Read is in 2nd grade is 50%. We too are at 50%. And so just a comparison with how we fall compared to the state. In 3rd grade, state is 49%. You can see that we're above that at 56%. We also, a few months ago, you all approved Every Child Can Read to come in and work with students specifically on reading. Maria, do you want to share a little bit about the performance of those students and what they've been working on as a result of approving and being able to implement that program?
First of all, that 3rd grade score, that 56% represents the current kids we tested. That doesn't include the kids who passed last year's 2nd graders, which are now 3rd graders, and who have passed, which gets us to our 84%. Every child can read it. So we had 9 3rd graders in the program. 8 out of the 9 students passed I Read this first time. So we are super excited about that. We are moving on to a new cohort of a few 3rd graders too. So we are graduating them from Every Child Can Read, and we are bringing in some new kiddos before our first assessment. The window for I Read 3 in the summer opens May 11th. So we are hoping to test them that week. It's the second to last week before school is out. So we'll test them again then, and depending on how well they do, that will determine their summer school status. And then we have another second opportunity at the end of the summer school window to assess them again. So we're excited about Every Child Can Read. We've been working really closely with Patty Peterson, who is the director. So she's been great.
We also, I think this is one of the strong areas for Hagerstown Elementary School and their staff, that when we always, even prior to the change in some expectations around I Read 3, but there has always been a strong intervention support for students who do not pass I Read between now and the May test, and then again between then and the late summer test. Mrs. Lieberman is one of those who leads the work and has had great success in getting some of those kids who maybe didn't pass the first time to pass in the 2nd and 3rd time. So that's really exciting. Our teachers don't stop after the first assessment. They continue, which is good, because if you remember, students must pass iRead 3, and if they do not, they will continue to take iRead 3 assessment at least until 6th grade or until they pass it. So it really just goes to show you how important that reading foundation is, and the comparison to the students being successful as a result of demonstrating those reading foundational skills. Continue on, Mrs. Locke. You've got more than just iRead.
I didn't ask you to do this, but did you happen to
I did.
take a picture?
Yeah, keep going.
So we have a new member of the group, Ms. Patty Ann Wilson, and she's the sweet little adorable baby of Mrs. Joelle Wilson. She was 8 pounds, 3 ounces, and 20.5 inches long. So we are super excited that we've got little Miss Patty joined our high group.
And how many other babies are we waiting on this school year? Yeah.
1 assistant and 2 teachers that are expecting. So lots of babies.
Yes.
All right, so we did have some fun stuff on the agenda.
Yes, we did. I mean, look at that little thing. Cute. So cute.
All right, HTS participated in the statewide today. So we were able to access the 20th drill, and it's a great job. St. Jude Mathathon for grades K through 6 will begin on April the 6th. Mrs. Lindbergh is heading this up. This is just a great way for students to practice the math facts, for the class. So something that I know used to happen for each bring it back. So we're excited about that. 5th grade student Luke Kelly entered the Americanism essay contest. Mr. Swallow had his whole class do this. He was actually approached by the Elks Lodge. And this essay contest is sponsored by the Elks Lodge of Hagerstown. Students wrote an essay over the topic, what does service to your country mean to you? Luke was one of the 3 finalists in the local division and went on to represent HES at the district level. And at the district level, Luke was judged 2nd best out of 9. And now advanced to the state. So we're super excited about that. And then the last thing I would say is that, it's coming on Friday and Saturday and 7 p.m. HHS, auditorium.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Well, Mr. McCaslin is off cheering on the cheerleaders in the TEC competition tonight, so I will read his school news. We had 7 qualifiers for the National Civics Bee. These junior high students submitted essays and were chosen to compete in the regional event at IU East on April 10th. And those 7 qualifiers were chosen amongst other Wayne County junior high students who submitted essays. All juniors took the SAT last week, and we had 100% attendance for the SAT, which is super exciting and a huge accomplishment for our team. Our junior senior high school team has been working really hard and very intentionally to help prepare students to perform their very best on the SAT. He wanted to give a shout out to Mrs. Jamie Claywell and Mrs. Tiffany Hokie for running SAT boot camps that have helped students prepare for the types of questions and the format of the questions that they would see on the SAT. So there's a few pictures of Mrs. Hokie and Mrs. Claywell working with students. Gus Gollier qualified for the state wrestling tournament, and our junior high wrestling team won the county and the TEC wrestling tournament. So we're excited for the bright looking future of our Tiger wrestlers. Caden Irvin was the Whitewater Career Center Student of the Month for February. Caden is part of the electrical program and demonstrated a strong work ethic in the classroom and during his hands-on experience. The high school jazz band was awarded silver at their latest jazz competition, and the middle school jazz band was awarded gold at their last competition, and pictures of both groups there. And then finally, we will be hosting iStar Awards tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the high school. We look forward to hosting 7 other schools and their staff and families. Each school selects 3 students from the top of their class, the senior class, and those 3 students select 3 teachers to honor during that program. And so each student gets to spend a little bit of time discussing how that teacher or sharing how that teacher has impacted their educational experience. So more to come, probably at the April meeting once we have iStar tomorrow night and can share our 3 students and our 3 teachers. That's all for the junior senior high school. Gonna turn it over to Mrs. Tinkle to talk about preschool enrollment update.
So it's been a week and a half, and these are our current numbers for our preschool, our Discovery preschool enrollment. We have 13 3-year-olds signed up, pre-registered, 33 4-year-olds, and 9 continuing developmental students with Mrs. Solis. So next year, we're looking at, this year we have 2 3-year-old classes and 2 4-year-old classes. We're looking to change that back to what it was actually the year before. We are looking at 3 classes of 4-year-olds, so pre-K students. That is a great number to start with. We're going to be capping at 45. We keep 15 per class. So we'll have in the morning a 3-year-old class and a 4-year-old class, and then the afternoon 2 4-year-old classes. So with our 13 3-year-olds, we will be capping that class at 15. And so we do only have 2 spots left in our 3-year-old class. Further pre-registrations will be put on a wait list once we hit that number. So far we are very excited with those numbers. We're also looking forward to summer daycare. Right now we have 20 students signed up for our summer daycare program, and we'll be working on staffing for that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. From the district, we're going to change it up a little and share an update just on teaching and learning. So we spend time in the summer with our instructional leadership team, kind of analyzing data from the previous school year and setting new school goals. And then we have some different assessments throughout the school year that help us measure student learning, but then also use that to drive the work that we do in our professional development. So you've heard us talk about Cluster, which is our professional development model, and that is teachers meeting weekly with our instructional leadership team members, and everything that we do in that professional development time is really focused around teaching and learning, improving student achievement, and helping us meet our school goals. So we talked about iRead, which is one assessment that we use to measure student learning. Another assessment that we use is iLearn. Those are summative assessments, and we are getting ready in April to enter iLearn assessment window. And iLearn is tested in grades 3 through 8, math and ELA. It also tests 4th and 6th grade science and 5th grade social studies. So we kind of set some goals around that. This summer, we really jumped in and looked at where have we been as measured by iLearn, and where do we want to go? We set some pretty lofty goals, which is okay. If you know Emily Schaefer, you know that I really want to, I want 100% on every single one of these. They talked me to come down a little bit, which is, okay. But really, any growth is growth, and that growth needs to be celebrated. And so you can kind of see this is the third grade math and ELA, our goals for 2026, where we have been at, and then we will fill in where we actually end up once we get those results back. And we probably won't get them back till late summer, maybe early fall. But then we'll kind of go through the same process again. So thinking about, you set these goals in the summer and then you can't just hope to reach your goals. It is through intentional planning, teaching, and assessing unit learning or student learning throughout the school year, so that you have some kind of idea of where you hope to land, where you might land, based on student evidence activities that you're doing. So another piece is they have started doing iLearn checkpoints, which are 3 times throughout the school year to kind of assess where students are at. 3 times throughout the school year before they take the summative assessment. This information also helps us as instructional leaders then go back and look at, okay, where did we perform really well? Where do our students show mastery in the standards that were assessed? And where are we lacking? And what can we do about that between now and the summative assessment to hopefully change the path that they are on then for the better. So you can see checkpoint 1 for ELA in 3rd grade, which assesses reading foundation and fiction. The corporation, we scored 29% of students were proficient. Statewide, 25% of 3rd graders were proficient on that checkpoint. So being above the state average is a celebration. On checkpoint 2, assessed reading foundation, informational text and media, our corporation scored 35% of students were at proficient. The state was 33. In math, same kind of thing. Checkpoint 1, assess place value, addition, subtraction, and money. Corporation scored 34%. The state was at 45% proficient. So we do this with every checkpoint area, but this really was one that stood out to us. We are already performing lower than the state. So where are we missing the mark? What standards, what skills, and really take a deep dive into what that is, looking at the information that these reports give back to us on student performance. We kind of dive into that as an instructional leadership team. And then that's where we go into that weekly professional development in cluster and work with teachers specifically on improving those low areas. On checkpoint 2, you can already see some of those gains. 44% of our students were proficient on multiplication, division, and fractions, and 43% was the state. When you get into 4th grade, not only do you have 4th grade math, iLearn, and ELA, but we also have 4th grade science. You can see our 4th grade science student proficiency percentages have been incredible. I think that is a testament to the hard work that Mrs. Mueller, our 4th grade teacher, does. She's phenomenal. And if you have looked at a 4th grade science standard, one standard is about a paragraph long. And so it's a challenge, but she really works very hard in planning her instruction and assessing her students and preparing them to be proficient in those 4th grade science standards before they take the iLearn summative assessment. Again, monitoring, so fourth grade ELA has already taken their third checkpoint. So we have now all of that data to then make one last push on what we can be doing to support teacher planning and looking at the data to then prepare those students in those areas that are maybe a little bit lower, or kids who are kind of on the bubble of at near proficient, getting them to proficient. Our fourth grade math. Our school goals in fifth grade. There we can see that fifth grade assesses social studies, ELA, and math. Our ELA checkpoint proficiency numbers. Our math checkpoint proficiency percentages, you can see, for just taking one look at this on checkpoint one, our fifth graders performed 58% proficient. The state was at 42%, and checkpoint two, we were at 57, and the state was at 41. So, that's well above the state when we talk about proficiency. And so then too, it's asking the questions, what are we doing really well in that fifth grade instruction? What is the teacher doing really well? And how can we bottle that up and share that amongst others so that we see those same kind of results in our other grade levels and subject areas? Our sixth grade, again, we go back in sixth grade and assess science, math, and ELA. And again, we hope to see the green arrows continuing and less of the red arrows. And just to kind of point out, we are measuring this year or comparing this year, really focusing on the instructional practices. So we spend a lot of time investing in our teachers, trying to grow our instructional practices so that it's not so dependent on the cohort. We've seen different cohorts of students. Some perform better than others. Some come into fifth grade math and they're already performing high as an entire group of students. But we really have tried to ask ourselves, how can we invest in the teacher so the teacher knows what that high quality instruction looks like, what student evidence of that learning looks like, so it isn't so dependent on student knowledge and what's coming in already, that we're getting all of our students through our instruction, through the growth of our teachers, to continue to grow year after year. Our sixth grade checkpoint data. Our sixth grade math data, again, looking at those scores and asking ourselves, what is that teacher doing really well, and how can we bottle that up and spread it? Those are really good. Our seventh grade math and ELA. Seventh grade ELA checkpoint. Math checkpoint. Our eighth grade goals. Eighth grade checkpoint for ELA. Math. And then we kind of take a transition, a different focus when we start talking about 9 through 12 and what does that look like. This year, our freshmen will take PSAT in April. This will be the first year that we really take that as a whole. And so we don't have any data yet to look off of, but we set some goals based on that. So we'll be able to fill in some of that information in April or after we get the results. Our sophomores take PSAT in October. And so we already have that data for this year and are already looking at what can we tweak? How can we spend some time in that professional development, giving our teachers a better understanding, more resources? How can we invest in improving those scores? Our juniors take SAT. They take that in March. I believe they just took that. Yes, right, Mrs. Tinkle? Yes. And so we will get that information back and again be looking at how can we improve those numbers, or did they improve? Hopefully they improved because Mrs. Hokie and Mrs. Claywell have worked so hard, and really all of the high school teachers have, through that professional development, have been looking at what they do in their classroom, even if it's not a math or an ELA content area, but how can I as a science teacher support student performance on SAT? And then we know that obviously as they become a senior, our graduation rate is our measurement there. And I didn't include it on the slides, but that is last year, our graduation rate was 100%. And then we also have one more, which is biology iLearn. So all of our students who take biology 1 are also assessed on an iLearn as well. So when we think about teaching and learning, we really try to ask ourselves as leaders, what is it that we want our students to know or be able to do as a result of the instruction? And so that is a question for third grade. For example, what do we want our third graders to know and be able to do by the end of the school year so that they are successful in fourth grade? But that is also a question we ask ourselves daily. As a result of this lesson that I am providing students daily, what is it that I want my students to know or be able to do so that they are proficient, they do reach mastery in those grade level standards? How will we know if students have learned it, whatever that is? We have to have some kind of student evidence that shows they have learned it. We can't just rely on our gut feeling. I think students have learned today's objective because we need some kind of evidence that truly shows us that. How do we respond when some students don't learn it? We talked a little bit about this with our iRead results. Is it intervention? Is it going back and reteaching? Can it be some station and small group work? But what do we do if they have not learned it? Because we know that they need those skills. They need that learning to be successful either in later skills or the next grade level. But then on the flip side of that, what will we do to extend the learning for students who have demonstrated proficiency? And so how can we continue to provide challenging opportunities for students who are performing proficient so that they are challenged in their learning and they continue to grow as well? And so really all of this is driven by that professional development model. So that's the targeted weekly meetings for teachers. If we can put the best educators in front of our students, we know that we're giving them the best opportunities to learn, and our educators deserve that opportunity to learn themselves and continue to grow. We analyze data, we identify problems and needs. During that time, we obtain new learning aligned to student needs or format the classroom application. So giving them time to actually, what does that look like in the classroom? Develop new teacher learning to support the classroom, apply the new learning, and then to come back as a group and say, okay, I planned this lesson specifically because what the data told me or a problem that I see, and then what was the impact of that? Did it move the needle or did it not move the needle? And so all year it is this continuous cycle of investing in our teachers, supporting them, really helping them analyze the information and grow from an instructional leadership team, but a continued effort every single day, every single week to improve student learning in every single one of our classrooms. So as we think about what's next in our teaching and learning, the IDOE just rolled out a new accountability model. So we're going back to school letter grades. We haven't been there for a few years, but they're going to come back. The difference is the way they used to grade us and the new way they're going to grade us is very different. So it'll be looking at that new accountability model with our leadership team and determining, what does that look like for us? How can we set ourselves and our students up? Because really the new model looks at the student as an individual and less as the school as a whole. And then also the new legislation around accelerated math. So just continue to have those conversations, continuing to grow the learning opportunities here at Nettle Creek. I always say the best thing that we can provide students is the best education that they can be exposed to. If they are successful, if they are learning, that is the foundation of whatever they want to do in life. And so I think that has to continue to drive our work. And no matter how good we are, continuing to push ourselves to be better in those areas. Questions about any of that before I share one more celebration from district? All right, today we had an exciting day. Senator Jeff Rotz stopped by to present Mrs. Mueller, fourth grade science teacher, with a certificate from the state of Indiana. He honored all of the individuals who were recognized at the Wayne County Chamber dinner. If you can remember, Mrs. Mueller was recognized as the Wayne County educator by the Wayne County Chamber. And so Senator Rotz came to visit us today and presented her with that certificate. We encouraged him to come back and spend a half a day with our kids. I said, it will be so much fun, but you will be tired when you leave the elementary school. So fingers crossed that he comes back and visits and is able to see all of the great things that are happening, not only in our elementary school, but at Nettle Creek schools as a whole. That's all I have for district news.
Well, thank you. Move to board member reports, concerns, and requests for information. Start down here and come this way. Mr. Baining.
Nothing from me.
Lamar.
I'm
Nice
good.
job.
Thank you.
Ms. Bloss.
I was just gonna comment on the student musicians that you
Yeah.
highlighted. I think a large part of the credit needs to go to Mrs. Sanders. She just turned that program around. The winter percussion team, the Tigerette Color Guard, and it's a big turnaround for that program. And it's always good to see the ISMA results from the contests. And I just wanted to comment how I think a lot of credit goes to her as well.
Sure.
Awesome.
Mr. Stinky.
I do not have anything.
Nor do I. We'll move on. Show no old business. We'll move to personnel items presented for board consideration and act. Schaefer.
Yep, we have 3 non-certified positions, 3 on-call substitute teachers. 2 of those are on-call sub nurse position as well. We are in desperate need of both on-call substitute teachers and on-call sub nurses. So glad to add 3 more to our list, and then 1 resignation, HES instructional assistant. I would ask that you approve the personnel report as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Lee?
Second.
See? Discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next, we have recommendation and approval of the student resource officer contract between Nettle Creek Schools and Hagerstown Police Department. Schaefer.
Yep, our current MOU with the Hagerstown Police Department is in its final year of a 3-year agreement. And working with the town of Hagerstown and the Hagerstown Police Department, we're recommending a 1-year contract for SRO services moving forward. This partnership, just a reminder, supports our district safety infrastructure, providing a proactive and visible layer of security for our students and staff. But beyond traditional safety, our SROs provide prevention, mentorship and connection, and collaboration on crisis planning. The 1-year recommendation allows us to review annually the following considerations: a formal discussion between the school and the Hagerstown Police Department chief of the evaluation of the district's current financial standing and budgetary constraints, and really then be able to discuss, are we in a position where if we provide certified and non-certified staff raises from the school perspective, can we do the same for our SROs as well? That kind of, the first agreement was new. The second agreement, I felt like we were just operating status quo, but really it would be mindful for us to consider giving our SROs salary increases when we give, for example, non-certified staff salary increases. And so this allows us to have that conversation annually, because right now we just don't know what the future of the school budget looks like and how legislation changes will impact that until we really see a year or 2 of those changes. So the terms of the 26-27 recommended contract do include a base salary increase of $1,000 for each SRO at the start of the 26-27 service year. I would ask that you approve this contract as presented. It was included in your board packet, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. The only other thing I will note is moving this from a 3-year to a 1-year aligns with majority of our other MOUs that we have with the school, whether it be Ivy Tech, Reed Health, any of them. Most of those, I think all of those are on 1 year, simply to have that conversation each year on, are there any tweaks that need to be made?
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
With Cody? Is that my comment?
Second. Yeah.
All right, any discussion?
Emily, I just want to thank you for all the effort you put into this to answer the questions that we had. I think that this feels like it meets their needs that we were trying to accomplish. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say too, part of the what kind of stemmed this conversation is just looking at how our SRO salary compared to other SRO programs around us, and seeing a need to make sure that we are compensating them in the same as teachers, the same as non-certified staff, that we're attracting good qualified people to do a great job in that area. the town originally proposed a 3-year contract with an increase in salary for the next 3 years. And Chief Faulkner and I just had a conversation, and he very understanding of the uncertainty of really public entities. They're going to see it at the town too, and just not feeling comfortable to make a 3-year commitment on salary increases. I hope that we can do that, as does he, but like we kind of discussed, the 1 year allows us to then have that conversation each year, and also see what our budget is going to allow us to do. Thank you for that.
Any other questions or discussion? I'll move to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 6-0. That concludes our agenda. Next meeting will be April 8th here in the LGI room at 6:30. At 7:19.